This man, who is now being hailed as a moderate, Rouhani, is a wicked man. In a speech on the 21st of November in this House with the various speakers to look at the various jobs that this man Rouhani has had under the regime, he has served his masters well, and that's why I call him a butcher, because he has stood silent, and since his appointment as the Premier he's presided over 300 people being hung. But what he has got, part of his track record, is the fact he can con people. In 2005, talking about the talks that were going on at that time on nuclear proliferation and the enrichment program in Iran, Mr. Rouhani, he says, I duped the West. As I see it, we've got to redouble our efforts to expose the evilness of this man and to keep thinking not just of our wonderful friends on hunger strike, but those hundreds of thousands of people who are suffering repression in Iran itself. I said it last week again, I raised the question, and Baroness Vazi, a woman I have the greatest respect for, the Minister of State for the Foreign Office, if you're going to talk with the devil, take a big long spoon, because there's a self-confessed crook here who conned the people of the West in the past, and it looks like he's doing it again now. Sanctions were working. Sanctions were working. The sanctions we called upon our governments and others to... Over the years we've been pleading to put some pressure on these wicked people. And it was working. And why have they fallen for it again? You know my own personal views are always that they're so more worried about oil than they are about human beings. I'm old enough to remember Chamberlain coming back. He did a deal, didn't he? He did a deal with a Nazi. But we cannot remain silent. We have to keep on and on and on.
And let's not forget, President Rouhani, that the regime has been condemned 60 times at the United Nations for human rights violations. There have been more than 600 recorded cases of executions and public hangings this year alone. The regime continues to ban the use of satellite dishes, impose censorship, filter websites and social networks. It deprives its citizens of the freedoms we take for granted in this country. And we haven't forgotten the individuals. They're not just numbers to us. And of course, there's Ashraf and liberty. The way Western powers respond to these events is being watched closely in Tehran. If we look weak and indifferent, they will interpret that as a green light for more brutality. We need to tell Iraq, release the Ashraf hostages now or lose all aid and all support.
And of course, we don't forget the people in Camp Ashraf. Facilitating attacks upon the camp, killing innocent people, that is not the sign of a moderniser to me. And it does concern me, and it still makes me very angry, that we provided military troops to Iraq, and this is the way we've been paid back, by a regime that continues to kill and maim and repress its citizens, both in the camps and also within its own country's borders as well. Therefore, I will repeat my claim, or my assertion, that the Prime Minister and the Foreign Secretary of this country, and indeed President Obama, and indeed Senator Kerry, continues their efforts to release the 7 hostages as soon as possible. We are not prepared to allow them to remain in captivity. We must make clear to Iran that there will be serious consequences if they don't comply with this. Simple freedom for these people. But people often say, well, what more can we do apart from sanctions? Well, I still think there are other sanctions to be held, but there is a third and final issue that I would advocate for our government to follow. And that will be to support Madam Rajavi in her fight, in what she's achieving.